Oh, all right, guys. Not gonna lie, I am really nervous about this playoff game, just because I really haven't been taking a lot of games seriously the past few weeks, and this is this is the most anxious and nervous and on the edge that I've been in a while, honestly. So I'm hoping that doesn't affect how we play here, but this is gonna be the team builder for round one of the WBE playoffs. I apologize that there will be no graphics, but that's just because me and Elliot are already playing on Saturday, so the match is going to be going up in a few hours after this is going up. So hope y'all understand. If we do win round one, I will try to make round two with the graphics. So again, I apologize, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed our run here in the WBE if this is the end of it. But with that being said, let's take a look at the team matchup here. Of course, if you guys are excited, hit that thumbs up button down below, leave a comment letting me know what has been your favorite match from us for this season, I suppose. So yeah, boss of YouTube, we are taking on the Chicago Cub Chews, coached by my buddy Galactic Elliot. Channel link and stuff will be down below for you guys to go ahead and check out. Now, we did play Elliot in week 12, I want to say. I think it was week 12. Yeah, week 12 of WBE, and in that match I made it very clear that I really didn't make my own team. I didn't even know what sets I brought, honestly, until I fully looked at them during the actual match. But that was because I felt like we had a good chance to potentially play Elliot in first round of playoffs. So in case we were to play him, yeah, then I wanted to just not bring such a serious team and save the serious team for when the actual playoff happens. So this is it. This is going to be our real team that hopefully will win us round one here. But if you look at Elliot's team, it's honestly kind of terrifying. I'm not going to lie. He's got Aurora Veil. He's got Speed Pass with Scolipede. Not to mention that Mega Garchomp just kind of violates my existence in this battle just because it already destroyed us in our first matchup when he brought Speed Pass. Now, I'm not sure if he would bring Speed Pass again, but this time I feel like he most likely is going to want to bring Aurora Veil, so I need to be very careful with Veil because that in itself can easily win him the battle because I'm not going to be able to damage him, and then that allows his potential setup Pokemon to set up a lot easier and just go to town on us. So yeah, I need to be very careful with that. But in our original matchup, there were a few sets that I had brought that actually did put in a little bit of work. Our Muck set and our Reunicle set were the two sets that I think I kept the same from game number one. So let's take a look at the first set here. Is it this one? Yeah. So we're firstly going to be starting off here with Reuniclus. Now, this is the exact same EV spread and almost the exact same set that we brought in our first game. The idea behind this is to basically just act as a very annoying pivot for him to deal with. Yes, he does have Scolipede and Hoopa, but that's the beauty of Trick Room. In Trick Room, I can easily beat Hoopa and beat Scolipede with Psychic and Signal Beam respectively. And honestly, between Psychic and Signal Beam, we hit everything for neutral or super effective damage except for the Alolan Sandslash, if I'm not mistaken. Now, in game one, I didn't expect him to bring Alolan Sandslash, and it was honestly kind of annoying. If we were to bring it this time, it could still be a little bit of a nuisance, but that's actually kind of why I have HP Fire here. I really wanted to go with a different type of move, but I figured that I need to have some coverage to deal with the Alolan Sandslash most likely. So being able to have some type of measure really handy. Plus, if it is a Veil that he brings, he can definitely just bring Alolan Slash for the double speed, which could actually be a little bit of a problem, but hopefully we can play around it. I don't know if he would bring both of them. Like, what I definitely expect is Scolipede, Garchomp, and Hoopa. Those three I definitely think are gonna come. I don't think he brings Rotom, Mo, Mantine, or Serena this matchup. Serena could be a little bit of a problem if it's Scarf, but that's really it. I guess it could be Yachiberry for Manaphy though, which I guess Manaphy doesn't have a bad matchup here. Manaphy's honestly the last Pokemon I even thought about putting on this team, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So yeah, those three I don't expect, and then Chandelure and Girder, I don't know if either of them really have a good chance to come. Girder did nothing game one, and Chandelure basically gets stopped by Alolan Muck. So I'm not too concerned about it, but I definitely expect Scolipede, Garchomp, and Hoopa, and then most likely the Veil with Alola Ninetales. But yeah, this set is just able to pivot in and out. It takes physical hits decently well, so it can trigger him up and then go from there. Our special attack investment, I think, ensures that we knock out Hoopa after Stealth Rocks, and we can knock out Scolipede after Rocks as well, if I'm not mistaken, with the Psychic. So yeah, hopefully Reuniclus can put in some work this match. Our next similar set that we brought, actually, this is the exact same 4 moves and EV spread from the original game. This EV spread was made by my homie Marin Varen, which the Reuniclus set was also made by him, and the spread as well. So shouts out to him. We are bringing back these 2 very similar sets just because this Alola Muck can honestly pivot into so much of his especially offensive mons. It switches into Hoopa, Chandelure, the Alola Ninetales. Most importantly, it switches into the Rotom as well if we were to bring it again. And the nice thing about Muck is that this is a way for us to try and deal with Aurora Veil if he does want to bring it thanks to Brick Break. And I guess it would be a little bit annoying if he brings Aurora Veil with Chandelure expecting me to Brick Break it, but then if I predict it on the switch in, I can just knock it off. So that would be really handy as well. And this time I'm gonna make sure, I promise, I'm gonna make sure to have Poison Touch, because in our first game I had Power of Alchemy because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't care much about the game, and I didn't even notice it until I had actually brought in Alola Muck. So this time I promise, I'm gonna make sure to have Poison Touch, and hopefully we can spread a couple poisons. But between all 4 of these moves, we hit everything for neutral or super effective damage, which is absolutely amazing. So moving on to our first new set this matchup, that is going to be Mega Lopunny. Now in game number 1, I didn't really get a chance to use Mega Lopunny, so I don't know if I said what I might bring to a potential playoff game. I didn't rewatch the commentary, and I feel like I really should have, so I didn't give anything away now, but it's fine. It is what it is. But we are switching up the EV spread and the set this time around. I think game 1 I had Power Up Punch over Quick Attack, but this time I want to have dual priority, because if he doesn't have Aurora Veil, then dual priority really helps me to deal with a potential Speed Pass mon again. Most importantly, Scolipede, if he does want to bring it with Speed Pass, and I'm going to be able to deal with it a lot easier with double priority here, because I just need to get up rocks, get some damage off, and then whatever comes in shouldn't switch in for free against anything on our team, and we can go from there. Plus, dual priority is still really good for any type of potential Scarfers he may want to bring, although I guess we can't really touch Alolan Sandslash if it were to come in the in the Hail, but we should have other measurements to deal with this, so that's why I really don't think we need a fighting move on our Lopunny here, because Return to Ice Punch already hit everything extremely hard, and this can basically 2-hit KO everything that is not Alolan Sandslash, which I feel like the rest of our team can very easily manage, honestly, except for one other mon, but it's neither here nor there or that big of an issue, honestly, because we still have 4 Pokemon, I guess, that can deal with Alolan Sandslash. But we are running enough speed to outspeed Scolipede. If it does not have Protect and it's not speed boosted, then I can outspeed it and then potentially knock it out after Stealth Rocks or some Chip. But if it does have Protect, then I guess the speed really isn't that necessary. We could probably go a little bit less speed, but it's not really that important. And I think I'd rather take my chances with him potentially not having the Protect on Scolipede if it really comes down to it. So moving on to our next team member here, we have good old Tauros, aka 5150, and shouts out to my front office for hating my Tauros set yet again, even though this is technically my best answer to Garchomp. Now, the only issue with this set potentially trying to check Garchomp is that if he runs something like Draco Meteor or Earth Power, obviously that could be a little bit scary, because if he Special Chomp, then he's not affected by Intimidate, and I'm already a minus by def nature. But I'm kind of putting my eggs in one basket here and hoping that he still just brings a regular physically offensive Garchomp, so then that way I can be able to check it a lot easier. Now unfortunately, Ice Beam does not quite 2-hit KO Garchomp, but it does do enough damage to the point where I can weaken it and easily just revenge kill it with something else. And the way that this team works is that outside of my Alolan Muck, the Garchomp should never be able to just freely Earthquake. So if anything, if I'm able to play around the Garchomp accordingly and not allow my Muck to be in against the Garchomp, then I won't even have to worry about switching in Tauros initially on the Garchomp, and then I can just outspeed it later and go from there. But yeah, Ice Beam is solely for the Garchomp. Wild Charge was literally last minute put on here because my boy Shuckle King 87 was like, hey, Mantine kind of just walls your entire team if you don't have any type of electric moves. So I think this was originally Stone Edge, but that did 0 to Mantine, so I decided just to go with Wild Charge because this still does like 70-ish% minimum to physically defensive Mantine if he were to bring it. I don't expect it, honestly, just because Mantine's matchup is really rough in my opinion. So if it doesn't come, I guess this is a wasted move, but if it does come, hey, it could actually come in pretty handy. And then our final move is Flamethrower, which I think I wanted to make Fire Blast. Did I? No, because this is playoffs. Knowing my luck, I'm going to miss a Fire Blast. The only reason I would like Fire Blast over Flamethrower is because Fire Blast guarantees a 2-hit KO on a specially defensive Alolan Sandslash, but if he brings it with Ninetales, then offensive is still 2-hit KO'd by Flamethrower, but Spadef is 3-hit KO'd by Flamethrower. So I don't know. If he brings the Veil, I think he'll be offensive. If he doesn't bring Veil and he brings Sandslash, then I assume it will be Spadef once again. But even then, just getting off any damage on Alolan Sandslash is going to be really, really handy. So yeah, all 4 moves do pretty good damage to everything. Our attack investment is just so we can do a bit more damage with the return to the entirety of his team, except for the Chandelure, because if you look at his team, his only real good switch into this is Chandelure, which I can still do decent damage to with the Wild Charge. But again, I don't expect Chandelure to potentially come to this game, and then the speed investment is enough to speed tie with Mega Garchomp, but I don't think he's going to be max speed. He only really needs to have 157 speed, so we should be able to outspeed that in theory. And then 12 Spatak EVs are just so we can do like 2% more with Ice Beam to the Garchomp, and then the rest in defense and HP. So our next team member is going to be Kali, aka Steelix. In game number 1, I brought an autotomized Steelix because my boy Marin was like, hey, this could actually win that game, and I was like, all right, bet, let's bring it. So this time around, I'm actually bringing a really, really fat Steelix. Now, Steelix is actually a bit of a problem for him to try and break through. His only real good answers to this are the Girder and the Chandelure, as well as potentially the Mantine. Now, yes, Garchomp obviously is there, but with the Shucka Berry, we are actually able to always take 2 Earthquakes or Earth Powers from Garchomp and then guarantee to KO him with the Ice Fang. I think the minimum that we do, if he's like max HP, the min that we do is like 50%, which is still really good, and Mega Garchomp doesn't have any type of recovery, so we are going to be able to always 2-hit KO it, which is going to come in very handy, and he should never be able to 2-hit KO us with anything that he potentially has. I guess Shucka Berry also kind of helps for the Scolipede if he were to run Earthquake, and initially I wanted to have Earthquake on Steelix here because it was a good way of being able to hit Alolan Sandslash and not having to worry about it so much. But my boy Shuckle King brought up the fact that if he is going to be bringing Speed Pass again, which is likely, then I need to have some way of just initially stopping that, which is my Steelix. I immediately stop Speed Pass by switching in Steelix, going straight for the Roar, and not allowing him to pass any type of speed boost to something like Hoopa, Garchomp, Chandelure. I guess I don't expect Chandelure, but you guys get what I mean. Like, Roar is literally only here to stop Speed Pass. Otherwise, Ice Fang and Gyro Ball hit everything except for the Alolan Sandslash, and I guess I can't really do too much to Mantine, but I'm not too concerned about it, honestly, because our final team member here, which should be Okada, is a really interesting mon in this game. Initially, I was not going to bring Manaphy. I think I was going to bring a very tankish Silvally Flying, because in game number 1, I had brought offensive Silvally Flying. So this time I was like, oh, I can just bring defensive Silvally Flying. But my boy again, Shuckle King 87, a huge advocate of Manaphy. I don't like Manaphy personally, but it's been doing all right this season. He was like, Manaphy just kind of destroys Elliot's team, which honestly it kind of does, because between Surf, Ice Beam, and Hidden Power Electric at +3, there's not really anything that he has that's going to be able to stop me from just getting a free kill or potentially just 2-hit KOing everything. Now, I could have gone with the more speedy set, but the main reason I like a more physically defensive set is that if he doesn't have Special Hoopa, or he doesn't have Chandelure or Rotom, which I don't expect Rotom or Chandelure, so that's already 2 of 3 mons that most likely won't come. But if he doesn't have Hoopa or if it's not special, or if it's just not around anymore, then me being physically defensive after a tail glow means that I'm going to be able to take physical hits from basically everything on his team. And another good thing about Manaphy 2 is that this can act as a pivot into the Mantine, the Chandelure, the Garchomp even, as well as the Alolan Sandslash, which is amazing. And then from there, I can hopefully try to get up a tail glow on something and then just try to pick up a KO or two is what I'm hoping to do with this Manaphy. But if I can just wall something, or if I can just get rid of the Garchomp with this set, then I'll be perfectly fine with that. I do about 50% min to the Scolipede with Surf, so it should never set up on me, which is amazing. If I get up Stealth Rocks, then I won't be as scared of the Scolipede, but if I don't, then worst comes to worst, I do about 50% always, and then that way it just never sets up for free. And then if I get up a tail glow, everything kind of just dies. In a sense, this is also kind of good because it mitigates Aurora Veil a little bit, because Aurora Veil lets you take half damage from everything, but I'm at +3 instead of +2, so it's like I'm doing +1 damage to his team, which is still pretty good damage, honestly, if you think about it. And I don't think there is actually a way that Alolan Ninetales should ever outkill Manaphy. Even if he has the Freeze Dry, it's not going to be doing entirely too much damage. And then if he's not bulky, I beat him easier. If he is bulky, he's doing no damage. So it's just a matter of trying to figure out what kind of set his Alolan Ninetales is running, honestly. So yeah, 44 special attack Vs are just nice to do a little bit of damage. The defense investment ensures that we should never be 2-hit KO'd by 2 Jolly Max Attack Earthquakes from Mega Garchomp after Stealth Rocks from full, then 36 Spadef just so we can take a Freeze Dry a little bit better, and then we had 4 left over, which I just threw on into speed because we don't really need speed on this Manaphy set. I just want this to kind of pivot, set up on his slower Mons, and then just start smacking things around. So yeah guys, that is going to be our squad here for round 1 of the playoffs. It should be going up in a few hours after this, hopefully. But if you guys are excited for this, hit that thumbs up button down below. Let me know what your favorite match of this season was, and I will see you all in a little bit. So later, everybody.
Because my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping.